Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Wanted you to watch this clip. This is an interesting clip. This is Marathon Digital's, CEO. Let's see. Yeah, the CEO of Marathon Digital, who does mining. So watch this.
They either have to let the dollar drop in value significantly and have high inflation so they can inflate away the debt, but that would be disastrous. The other thing they can do is they can invest in an asset like Bitcoin, which will over time appreciate in value. And if it can appreciate at a rate faster than the U.S. total debt appreciates, then now you have something you can use to offset the debt over time. And if the U.S. were to hold 2 million Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin goes to $20 million over 10, 20, 30 years, then now all of a sudden the U.S. would be holding at $20 million, roughly 40 trillion plus. Well, the federal debt today is 35 trillion and growing. And there's no way the government can service that debt at current inflation levels, interest rate levels.
Yeah.
Right? And so the minute the US does it, they will now have the ability to project power in the Bitcoin market because they will have pricing power because of their supply, just like they do with the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Why does the administration sell oil out of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve? To drop the price of gasoline, to lower inflation. Right? Why does the Strategic Petroleum Reserve exist? Well, it was to protect us from price shocks in the outside market. Well, today the U.S. is arguably the largest oil producer in the world. And so they have the ability to not suffer the consequences of high international oil prices.
So he's basically saying we need to have a strategic Bitcoin reserve. How about a strategic XRP reserve? That way, not only does it have the limited amount, but if you send it, it sends it a bunch faster than the Bitcoin, and it's less expensive to send. That's the part, and you don't need all that mining crap. How about that? Speaking of crap, here's Senator Elizabeth Warren talking crap about both crypto, lying about her position, and not talking about how she is Operation Choke Point 2.0. Then going on to lie about John Deaton.
My concern is about crypto as it is with any other money system. My concern is about how it's used by terrorists, drug traffickers, how it's used by scammers, how it's used by rogue nations like North Korea and Iran. And right now, we have what are called money laundering rules in place that cover every one of our financial systems. So banks and credit card companies and savings and loans, it covers credit cards, Venmo, stockbrokers, gold traders, precious metal dealers, all have to abide by a certain set of rules that are designed to try to lock out the scammers, to lock out the terrorists so they can't use that as a way to move money around. Because being able to move money around is a part of what they need for their business. And the problem right now with crypto is there are no such rules for that. And the consequence is it's being used increasingly by terrorists. It's being used, for example, the ransomware. Where somebody comes in and they lock down your system and say, you got to pay me. Do you know what portion of ransomware is paid off with crypto? No. 100%. In fact, what law enforcement tells us is that if you put restrictions in place on crypto so that it can't be used in that way, the whole business model for that kind of scamming literally falls away. So what I'm all about is not about the regulation overall of crypto. It's about the money laundering aspect. It's the law enforcement part of this. I just want the same rules that apply to every other part of the system.
Now remember, this is the woman behind Operation Choke Point 2.0. where she's been going after all of crypto. She's been directing Gary Gensler and her people out of the White House to go after anybody who tries to have a crypto bank, to sue all these companies over securities. And that has nothing to do with the money laundering stuff she's talking about. So she's lying.
Also to apply to crypto. And crypto billionaires evidently don't want that. So they went out and recruited a candidate to run against me because they bought the Republican nomination for him by putting millions of dollars in so he could run these ads.
Right. So crypto billionaires, these are capitalists, versus the crypto billionaires that fund her, like George Soros, that are commies that actually hate this country and want to destroy it.
They think they're going to buy the seat for him.
So a couple of things there. First, Reuters.
All right, enough of that. I can't listen to her anymore. Check this out. Japan's 3 major banks to test cross-border stablecoin transfer platform. And then we've got this. Here is, I'm going to go halfway. The second half I thought was best. I'll play you some of this, and then we'll go on to the next clip.
Last couple years. So one, from a business perspective, with our payment solution, we crossed $50 billion and $60 billion in total volume processed. It's still a drop in the bucket when you think of the opportunity for global money movement, but it feels, it doesn't feel like it is real tangible progress toward the Internet of Value. Also, within our suite of products, we identified this broader opportunity of what the little dent that Ripple can make in not just facilitating cross-border payments, but being really the partner to any financial institution that wants to do finance on-chain. And so with that, the acquisition of Medico last year to bring custody and secure digital asset storage into our product portfolio, that was a really big moment. It's still like one of the largest deals in crypto. Those are a couple. The other piece, and I know we were just talking about this, but the various amendments that have come to XRP Ledger, these new features and the development is happening faster and faster. So not only are we seeing more kind of primitive DeFi capabilities added to the protocol itself, but I'm really excited for what's to come on the programmability front.
Two things come to mind, like big events. I'll save the bigger one for the second. But I think the stablecoin effort is a really important one, and I think Ripple has always taken the view that anything we can do that is good for the XRP ledger, we're going to lean into. Bringing liquidity to the XRP ledger is good for everyone in the community. And anytime I read online or just somebody saying that Ripple somehow isn't committed to the XRP ledger, I just think that they totally are missing it. Like, we're 100% committed to the XRP ledger. We always will be. And we would only do a stablecoin if we thought it was good for the XRP ledger. But I think that's going to be an exciting step.
There's your answer right there to all the naysayers.
The second one, which I'm sure Monica was letting me talk about, but getting sued by the U.S. government is not a fun experience, and I think it was pivotal for Ripple, but it's also pivotal for the crypto industry at large, and I think not just in the United States, but even globally. We had sort of an opportunity to settle that without fighting the fight. We ended up deciding to fight the fight, and it was expensive. It was certainly stressful. I was actually, right before I got up here, I was reading on Twitter, and somebody on Twitter was commenting how much it looks like Brad has aged over the years. It's like, well, the government sues you, it stresses you out.
Well, that's pretty funny stuff. Okay. Then there was David Schwartz came on to talk about DeFi and the XRPL.
So I want to put a couple of stats up on the screen here, and I'll show them in both Japanese and English. But the one that I really want to call your attention to is that second stat about 97% of institutional investors believing in tokenization. In any space, the people who are in that space believe in it. If you're working in AI, you believe AI is going to change the world. Maybe not necessarily for good, but you're excited about it, right? People inside a space are always excited about it. They always believe it's important and it's going to do big things. But when you know that it's real is when people outside the space feel the same way. Institutional investors are not blockchain people, right? They're not tech people. In a recent survey, 97% of institutional investors said they believe that tokenization is going to happen. And I think that's very telling that
I have to
institutional
get this
DeFi is
phone call here. Let's see. Okay, I had to take a phone call. We'll listen to a little bit more of this.
If you look at some of these other stats, the growth of stablecoins are institutional DeFi products. If you look at the companies that launch stablecoins, Tether, Circle, soon Ripple, they're institutions, right? And most of us will never do business with them. If you hold USDC or Tether, you probably didn't do business with Tether or Circle, right? You got it from an exchange, or you got it from a DeFi exchange. These are products that are heavily regulated, that are enabling totally unregulated DeFi ecosystems. And that's the direction that we think that the future is going to go, at least over the next year or two, with things like real-world assets. So how is the XRP ledger going to be involved in that? Well, the trick is to make the XRP ledger the preferred blockchain for institutional-grade DeFi and real-world asset tokenization. And for that, you need four things. Number one, you need the right primitives. You need primitives that...
Okay, that's good stuff, but look at this. This just happened.
Yes, this is some breaking news coming from the New York City courts. Judge Juan Marchand, who has been the presiding judge over former President Trump's so-called hush money case, has made a determination that he is not going to go ahead with the September 18th sentencing date for the former president, that it will be delayed until after the election. This had been a really fraught decision for this judge, because people had observed, Sandra, that if he had have gone ahead with the sentencing, then the former president could have accused him of meddling in an election. And if he decided to delay the sentencing until after the election, no doubt he would get hit by a lot of accusations that he was acting in Donald Trump's political interests, as opposed...
You know, the impression I get is that a lot of these people are getting scared that Trump's about to win this election, and that he's going to come after them for lawfare and other things. And I'm going to, in the group, I'm going to show you something. These people are starting to be exposed. I'm going to show you the exposure, and also show you a clip of a guy talking about some of the people that went to that island. You know, that guy that owned that island? We're going to talk about that in DAIXRP.com. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button. Tell your friends and family. Away we go.